If you live in a state like me and only allowed to use straight wall cartridges while hunting deer, then you want the best option for the job. The 444 is probably one of the most underrated calibers, but from my experience, it'll stop deer dead where they stand. So if you're still on the fence about deciding on what the best deer rifle is for you, stay tuned. And let's talk about this Marlin 444 more in detail and why I think it's your best option. I'm Riveroo Bay, and welcome to my gun kingdom. We got somebody shooting next to us, so I'm going to have to wear the earplugs here. And, it's a little strange talking with the earplugs in, but I'll do my best here. But anyway, we have a beautiful day to zero this rifle in, and just before every deer season, I want to make sure that I'm zeroed at 100. So we got a great day to do it. And but anyway, this is a 1977 Marlin 444. And it has a 22-inch barrel, and the overall length of this gun is a little over 40 inches. It has a 3x9 Tasco scope on it, and it's got a beautiful wood grain stock too. So anyway, and now the older guns are marked with a stamp, JM stamp back here on the other side. And that tells you that it was made prior to them being bought out. There's nothing wrong with the new rifles today. But some people that collect guns, they definitely sometimes want these older guns. I started out hunting with my father and uncles deer hunting, and ran into a lot of situations where we had to do a lot of tracking. A state that we live in didn't allow rifles at all. In fact, it wasn't until 2014 in Ohio where they allowed straight wall cartridges in rifles. So we had to either use shotguns with slugs or pistols. And myself, I would carry a 44 Magnum handgun and shoot deer with that. But anyway, you had a lot of drop with those guns, and if you were shooting over 100 yards, for sure you would have a big drop. So with the new laws and regulations changing to straight wall cartridges, we have a little more options available to us to hunt deer. And so anyway, I shoot a Hornady 265, and I find this to be the best cartridge for deer. It's very effective, up to 150 yards. It's a flat shooting bullet. Even at 200 yards, it'll probably drop only about 3.5 to 4 inches. And it's a very fast bullet. It comes out of the muzzle, this one particularly comes out of the muzzle at 23-25 feet per second. And the muzzle energy is around 3,100 foot-pounds out of the muzzle. So at 100 yards, it's still flying at, roughly 1971 feet per second. And then the energy, foot-pounds energy at 100 yards is around 2,200 pounds. And so we know for deer, they're thin-skinned and thin-boned, and we need at least 1,000 foot-pounds. So this is sufficient. And this is a good brush gun. So if you hunt in a woods, and a lot of thick brush, this 444, it won't be deflected by branches and twigs and other brush that you might be shooting through. And so that's another plus about this. And this gun has the less recoil of any straight wall cartridge rifle. So if you're recoil sensitive, this is another reason to go with the 444. You'll stay on target. And when we talk about deer and the target that we're aiming for, it's the bullseye on a deer is about 8 inches. So anywhere that you place it behind the shoulder, within that 8 inches, you're probably going to hit both lungs. And that's what drops them right there. And so when we talk about the ammunition compared to other rifles, this would be an example of what we're not allowed to use, and it has a bottleneck. And so you can see the difference between these two rounds, this being straight walled and this being a bottleneck, and these are what are illegal to hunt deer with. And this is actually a 30-30. And they're in history with the 30-30, it probably has the best record of taking the most deer. So it's a great deer cartridge. But if like I said, if you live in a state that doesn't allow those cartridges, then you'll definitely have to go to a straight wall cartridge. Now this is an FTX, and it has a polymer tip on it, so it's safe for loading in the tubular magazine of the lever action gun. In fact, this is a Lever Revolution, it's called, and it's quite expensive. It's like $3 a shell. So but anyway, these are safe to load, and they stay intact when they hit the deer. They don't fly apart or anything like that. They stay intact, and it's a nice shaped mushroom too. So, and most generally, like I said, deer being thin-skinned, they'll go right through both lungs and probably exit with a bigger hole than what they entered with. So it's a great cartridge. And I always like to zero my rifle in with the cartridges that I hunt with. So that's another good idea to shoot like that. So anyway, let's go ahead and set up and throw a couple rounds at the target and see how we do. So here's how we did with 3 shots. So I'm going to go with these 2 right here, come over to the right 1.5 inches, and then probably up 1 inch. So now I'm going to make my adjustments. Each click is 1/4 inch. So we got to come up 1 inch. So that's 4 clicks up. See if I can see that bullseye. But there was an example when I showed you the target that, you know, that was well within that 8 inches that I talked about earlier. You know, for your shot placement, right behind the shoulder. So if you want to call it good for that, that's pretty good. But we're gonna dial it in a little bit more here. Let's load up here. I might have to get another box of shells. All right, make sure we got the right shells here. 444. Okay. And let's shoot another 3. So, you know, the new ones, they have a safety right here. And on the older ones, the safety is half right there. So that's safety. Then another safety feature on this rifle is right here too. So there's like a little tab there that once you close this lever, then it's ready to fire. Okay, so let's put 3 in here. Again, these are 265 grain. All right. So we'll make sure we're on the target. And I'll load one. Oh yeah, that looks good. All right. Ready to go. You want to squeeze the trigger. Hold your breath and squeeze the trigger. Okay. So we're on that bullseye again. Let's try it again. All right, let's walk down there and see how we did. So there we have it. We shot at that middle target this time, and you can see the grouping of the 3. The last one is dead on in the bullseye, and that was the one that really surprised me, and that's what you want when you squeeze the trigger and hold your breath. So I'm not going to do any more adjusting. I'm going to call it good at 0 at 100. So my final thoughts on this rifle is that it has the best potential of any other straight wall cartridge out there, the 444. And I was reading the other day an article, and I'll share with you what I found when they compared straight wall cartridges, and that was the 444 was at the bottom of the list for popularity. And I think that's just because people just haven't tried it yet. But I can tell you from experience that I've shot a lot of deer with this rifle, the 444, and I've never had a deer run off on me. And they drop right where I shoot them. So this is highly sufficient for deer. And this 265 grain bullet is all I use. I don't go any heavier than this. This is all you need for deer. And you know, even at 200 yards, the drop is only 3.5 inches, and you're not going to be shooting 200 yards in the woods. And you know, most of your shots are going to be, you know, less than 100 yards. And if you have it sighted in for 100 yards, you're not going to have any drop at all. So, and it's a fast bullet. It's flying when it comes out of the muzzle. It's faster than any other straight wall cartridge out there. You know, by 265 feet per second faster. So, and if you're looking for a gun too that maybe doesn't have a lot of recoil, for a big bore rifle like this, it doesn't kick that hard. So, you know, it's a lot less recoil than other guns are going to be. So that's a great great thing, because when you take your shot, you know, the bullseye is 8 inches. So, and right behind the shoulder on a deer, and when you take that shot, it's going to be within that circle, 8-inch circle. So, if you're somebody that likes to, you know, try to shoot them in the head or shoot them in the neck, that's really not the place to shoot them, because you know, the right place is to take out both lungs, and that's right behind the shoulder, and that's how you're going to drop them fast. You know, if you try to take a head shot or a neck shot, there's a chance that you could wound the deer, and it could take off and run on you and end up on somebody else's property that you don't have permission to go on. So, and then you're going to make the deer die a slow death. So, and make him suffer. So it's just best to shoot him right behind that shoulder, and this gun will surely drop them, you know, right where they stand. So, but it's a great bush rifle. It's you know, with this 22-inch barrel, you know, it doesn't get in my way, and you notice I don't have a sling on it, so I don't get hung up in the brush with it. And the cartridge is great for in the bush too. I mean, it doesn't deflect at all from branches or twigs or any other brush. So it's very powerful. It'll certainly do the job. And in any North American game, you know, within close range, you know, this rifle can take them out too. So it doesn't matter. It's a powerful rifle. So give it a chance and see what you think. But if you shoot them in the right spot, that right behind that shoulder, you're not going to have any tracking to do. So that's your best place to shoot a deer. But I want to thank you for watching this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and tell me what you decide to do, and or share with me what, you know, rifle you like to shoot deer with. And because there's a lot of good rifles out there, but if you live in a state like I do, and you can only use a straight wall cartridge, this is your best choice right here, the 444, definitely. So, but anyway, hit that like button and that subscribe button. There's going to definitely be more content in the future, and thanks again for watching.